All right, you guys ready to have some fun tonight? We can get everyone to please take your seats. We're about to get started. My name is Maya Crawford, and I'm the Executive Director of the Campaign for Equal Justice, and I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Laf Off is Oregon's premier lawyer comedy event. Also perhaps Oregon's only lawyer comedy event, but you guys are in for some belly laughs tonight. It's going to be great. And I think all of us here can agree that it'll be nice to exchange the fundraising rubber chicken dinner for the fundraising rubber chicken award. Tonight would not be possible without the help of our sponsors, Heritage Bank, Multnomah Bar Association, and the Oregon State Bar. So thank you to our sponsors. And now I would like to introduce our illustrious MC for the evening, Ms. Sonia Montalbano. Sonia is a shareholder at Elliott Ostrander in Preston, a past Laf Off comedian, and our MC for the past several years. Sonia is a recovering theater major who decided to switch to law when she realized that she could stand in front of a jury and not need to pretend to be somebody else in front of a captive audience. So we thank you, Sonia, and I will turn it over to you.
All for coming to the Campaign for Equal Justice, and my name is Sonia Montalbano, so welcome to Fantasy Island! Which I have always wanted to say. When you have a last name like mine, you really get to say it at least once. This is the most entertaining fundraiser that I have ever done, and I love to do it. And I have a question, just so I know who I'm dealing with. How many people have been here before? How many people here are virgins? Not after tonight, baby. This is a really, really fun event. It's one of the most, like I said, you will come out of this fundraiser and just be like, oh my God, I have to come back every year. If you haven't been here, for those that have been here before, I've been doing this for, I think this is like my 11th time. And I often try and have a theme. And in past years, I've like changed into different gowns every comedian. And then when it was close to Halloween, I changed into a different costume every comedian. And we're 2 weeks away from Halloween, and I gained about like 10 pounds since last time, and so none of my dresses fit, and I was like, I just don't have the energy anymore. But I did want to come up with some sort of theme for you, because I don't want you to be disappointed. I know how much that it means to you. So I went to see Cirque du Soleil, or Leo, I don't know what I'm a French. But have people seen that? The most recent one? Curious? I don't know, but their costumes are amazing. And the other day, I'm in Goodwill, and I see this outfit, and I'm like, oh my God, that looks very like one of those costumes. That'll be my theme, right? And I'm like, and I started trying it on, and I was like, is that a shirt? Is that a dress? Is that a tunic? Like, it was hard to get into. I didn't know what it was, but I bought it and spent my hard-earned money to make you laugh. So this is my homage to Cirque du Soleil. Okay, ready? This is for you people. It looks just like a dress, right? And now I can do this. I could be in Cirque du Soleil. I can just make them look really good, okay? I need to know who has a business card. If you have a business card, I want you to pull it out of your wallet right now. And I know you have business cards, come on. All right, if there's a piece of paper in front of you that you don't need and you have a pen, Get it ready. And this is why. It's because as much as you are giving to the Laf Off, this is the Laf Off's opportunity to give to you. So we are going to pass around a cauldron. You throw your business card into it, or just a piece of paper with your name on it. And at the end of the show, we are going to pull it out, a name out, and that person will win an amazing gift basket that has been prepared by the Campaign for Equal Justice staff. The theme of the basket is legal movie night. That's right, there will be no child pornography in this basket. I hope that's not a disappointment for any of you, and if it is, you need to get out. But they're coming around with the cauldron. Throw your business card in there, and you will be eligible for the drawing at the end of the evening. Just so you know also, there will be an opportunity at some point in the evening to donate directly to the Campaign for Equal Justice to support legal aid. I know you're lawyers, a lot of you, and I know that competition helps. So what I'm going to let you know is, at the last show, we were able to raise, during that brief interval of time, an additional $4,500. So that is fantastic and beautiful and wonderful, and I would like you to send those people home in shame and feel terrible about themselves, because I'd love to see a double. All right, now we are going to get to introducing our judges. Judge Reeves Kistler, unfortunately, was not, Justice Reeves Kistler was unfortunately not able to join us tonight. He had a family emergency, and he's since his, great sorrow he can't be here, but we were able to get a replacement, but this person is not a replacement. This is, our first judge sits on the Multnomah County Circuit Court, from whence she dispenses justice to those who seek it. She has a bit of theater in her background. She tells me her credits include playing Gladys McClone in The Unsinkable Molly Brown, the coveted role of Girl in The Wizard of Oz, and once gave a riveting performance as a stalk of corn in a second-grade production with a name that cannot be remembered and a plot that should not be remembered. I also know she is a mean-ass drum player. Please welcome Judge Cheryl Albright. Our next judge is a partner at Markowitz Herbold. He does so much, I went and looked on his bio, and it's like they specialize in, and there were like 11 things, and I'm like, really? What are you specializing in? But I couldn't say it all, so what I can say is that in addition to law, he was an editorial cartoonist for his college newspaper, and he won a national award for his first and only cartoon submitted to his law school paper. And for this reason, his deposition notes are collectible. So if you are ever opposite him in a deposition and he gets up to go to the bathroom, just grab that shit. Please welcome Jeff Edelson. Okay, our next judge works hard for her constituents and all Oregonians in the Oregon State Legislature, and based on some recent tweets and executive orders, she's going to be working a lot harder in the coming months. She told me she was the MVP of her Little League baseball team. She played shortstop. She insisted I mention, in addition to being the Speaker of the House, she was also the former House Majority Leader. Let's give it up for Tina Kotek! And last but by no means least, our next judge was on the Court of Appeals for 16 years, and since 2014 he's been Plan B senior judge, and it periodically sits with the Court of Appeals. So for those of you that appear there, you better clap loudly when I introduce him. While on the court, he was on the Oregon Judicial Fitness and Disability Commission for 8 years, which I find amazing in light of the fact that he is from Chicago, and tells me that unlike other judges from there, he went to prison before he became a judge. He says he's funnier than he really is, or he thinks he's funnier than he really is. Please welcome longtime supporter of Campaign for Equal Justice, Robert Walheim.
Here comes the judge.
Now, to ensure that we get out of here on time, each comedian has been given a strict 10-minute time limit. There's going to be someone in the corner over there holding up a little sign. It's like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, X. And if they go over, we have given the judges some tools to help us keep on task. The Campaign for Equal Justice has spent some of your hard-earned money buying a shepherd's crook. And we're going to entrust this to Tina Kotek. And if someone gets over their time, they are hereby waiving any rights to sue for any injuries that they may incur as a result of her yankum them at the neck or ankle. All right, our first comedian. She's gonna warm you folks up. She told me she was the fluffer for the next comedian. Do you already know which comedian I'm talking about just by saying? So she is the principal at Mitra Law Group. She has been up here as a comedian and she has bared it all for you, and I really mean she has bared it all for you. She literally showed her ass, or fake ass, I couldn't tell, but it was a nice ass, at a different event, and she's a former winner of the coveted Rubber Chicken Award. She is a huge supporter of the Campaign for Equal Justice, and she also throws an amazing Halloween party, which none of you are invited to. And if you are, I'm not going. So clap your hands for Mitra Shahari!
Can't see anyone, so that's good. Yeah, I was born and raised in Iran, and I guess that makes me a terrorist, according to the stereotypes. You know, there are a lot of stereotypes, but one of the big ones is that there's no freedom of speech in Iran, and that's not true. There's absolute freedom of speech in Iran. What we don't have there is freedom after we speak. But you know, lately, my friends say that it's getting really bad over there, where, you know, even the smallest act of protest, no matter how peaceful, is met with resistance from government and people losing their job, livelihood, and homes. And it's just getting really bad. And there, even some of them, they're shunned by their families and friends. And wait, sorry, I get the countries mixed up. That's America now. So, lately, it's really hard to tell them apart. You know, people always ask me, what's the difference in living in Iran compared to living in America? I think the main difference is that in Iran, women dress like a ninja so they don't accidentally give men a boner. Whereas in America, women go out half naked hoping to give men boners. It's true. You know, of course, talking about stereotype, everyone thinks that all Middle Eastern women belly dance. And that's true, I have to say. But don't be jealous, that's just us trying to dodge bullets. You know, growing up, I lived in a very rich neighborhood in Iran, but not because we were rich, it's only because my dad was in government. So I was always really envious of my friends because they all had 2-hump camels, and we were the only one neighborhood with a 1-hump camel. And I'm not even sure that was a hump. I think it was some sort of a scoliosis. I I remember when my dad would camel us to school, my two brothers and I would be hanging to this one little stumpy up the hump, just trying not to fall off. It was really embarrassing. We always asked my dad to drop us off a couple of sand dunes before school, so our friends wouldn't see us. You know, having been in America for many decades, I've heard being called camel jockey a lot of times. Not that it's not a bad thing, because a lot of my friends are camel jockeys. But truth be told, the first time I ever saw a camel was in Wichita, Kansas Zoo. And incidentally, that's not all I saw there. I also, for the first time, learned about the birds and the bees, except for there were no birds or bees, just elephants. Talk about raised expectations. And of course, followed by years of disappointment. Until I met my husband. You know, living in Wichita was great because I really felt good about myself. My self-esteem was healthy, and I thought I looked pretty good with my sassy short haircut. Then I moved to LA, and I realized LA has some really high beauty standards. For instance, in LA, I was considered a man. After several years of living there, I felt so ugly and so completely unlovable that I gave up on life, and I became a lawyer. I love living in Oregon because truly Oregon is the only state in the nation where I brag about being Iranian just to hide the fact that I'm from California. You know, when I first moved here, I noticed there were a lot of bikes out in the street, and I used to ride bicycles all the time, but I don't anymore. It's because I became an adult and bought a car. It's true, every time I see a grown man biking downtown, slowing traffic, I want to get out of my car and go grab him and say, get your life together, get a job, buy a car. You know, I love living in Oregon mostly because that's where I met my wonderful husband. He's a good, honest, conservative Republican from South Dakota. And when we first met, he completely tried to overcompensate by proving that he's not racist. So I remember the first night we were together, he was telling me how he didn't care if people were white, black, purple, or green. It's what counts inside that mattered to him. You know, that night I realized I may be a racist, because I draw the line on purple and green people. Hell with what's inside them. We've been together for 10 years, happily, but honestly, when we first met, we had nothing in common. Of course, other than we were from the same species. And seriously, since then, it's just been such a wonderful union, and all of our friends always want to know, where the hell did you guys even meet each other? And I'm happy to say we met on Match.com. And I sealed the deal by lying and lying and lying. Frankly, I don't think I could have lied anymore. But it worked, it really did, because I met all of his deal breakers. Was it bitchy, Middle Eastern, lawyer, atheist, with an accent, and I was 5 years older than him. But so, for you single women out there, there's hope out there. And online dating works, it really does. You just have to be honest with yourself, and you have to accept that truth has no place on your profile. about one thing. It's how you look. Just put a pretty picture out there and you're fine. It doesn't even have to be your photo, just the pretty photo. Seriously, men are that shallow. And it's a good thing, because honestly, who's gonna put up with all the shit we as women pull? You know, I don't have kids because when I was in college, this doctor told me I couldn't have kids, so I didn't try. But it wasn't until recently that I found out he had said that to everyone who rented a room in his house. But you know, I know raising kids is tough because my husband has 3 kids. The other day he was complaining that his daughter dresses too sexy. He said she doesn't wear a bra when she should. Her belly sticks out of all her shirts, and most of the time her ass crack's showing. You know, it made me think, my dad dresses too sexy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitra, and I want everyone to thank her a little bit one more time, because the hardest thing is to get up here and be the first comedian tonight. The judges have to give their comments, yeah. Also, I think it's really amazing that your doctor was Harvey Weinstein. Not too soon. Should have happened 10 years ago. I worked in LA. All right, so we would like to hear the judges' opinions. Judge Albright, why don't you start?
Well, I was just thinking that no wonder you're disappointed. You went from humping camels to humping elephants.
Representative Kodak.
Mitra, that was awesome. Anyone who can have ninjas, elephants, and camels in one, line of jokes tonight, very good.
All right. Judge Walheim, your thoughts?
Wow, I mean, you covered it all. I mean, you're talking about Match.com, and you're talking about all those relationships, and the basic requirement for any relationship of lying. I mean, you were great.
Thank you for being so honest for all of us. And Judge Edelson, I should call you all judges. Thank you.
I thought that was wonderful. I thought you tied everything together really well. A lot of great lines. Good laughs. Thank you.
All right. Hang on. I have to do my Ricardo Montalban. Thank you. Her husband is walking at her like, yeah, what? Smoke it. Anyway, okay, sorry. Our next contestant has also appeared on the Laf Off stage before. When asked for a fun fact about himself, he let me know he once visited Las Vegas and swam in the pool with Chastity Bono when she was Chastity in the hotel swimming pool, and he denies that there is any connection between this and Chastity's transition to Chaz, because it happened when he was like 10, and I just say that this man has no idea how lasting an impression he makes on a gal. Let's hear it for Greg Levinson!
Wow, so here we are, October, we're getting close to Halloween. Anyone fans of Halloween? Anyone have little kids dealing with Halloween? So my son is actually a little older now, he's 13, but when he was younger, I don't know if you guys did this, we would dress him up, these elaborate, cutesy little costumes, and go out down the street, get about 5 or 6 blocks, and all of a sudden, I have to pee. And I'm like, right, so you have to drag him back, tap to the house, take off the costume, let him go pee, come back. Quick solution to that, next year, dress him up as a catheter. Perfect, right? A little bit about me, I'm a a lawyer. Any lawyers in the house? So I think lawyers have kind of lost a little bit of their shock and awe, right? I was at a networking event probably a couple years ago, and we were a group of millennials talking, and I show up, and they ask me what I do, and I go, I'm like, yeah, I'm a lawyer, and I kind of, a lot of times they're like, oh, I hate lawyers, oh, I love lawyers, nothing. They're like, oh, that's nice. I'm like, oh, okay. So these millennials are talking, all of a sudden one of the girls starts talking about how they asked me, oh, did you ever get that document notarized? And she goes, oh, you wouldn't believe it. I go to the bank, my bank says no, I try and go here, it was a nightmare. I go, well, I'm a notary. You're a notary? Oh yeah, I passed that 20-question test. That's right. That's what's really stupid. Okay, maybe went into the wrong profession. A little bit more about me. I'm married, my wife is here, she's a travel agent. So we love to travel. We've been traveling a lot. But travel has really kind of gotten a little bit out of control now, right? I mean, the whole process is pretty ridiculous. You start with going through security, right? First thing you have to do, you got to take your shoes off, belt off, and then you have to go through that machine, the little thing that you go. What's really funny though is you see these guys, they have all these dad bods, all of a sudden they go in the machine, they're just like, like, dude, come on. So you get through that, you get through the machine, right? And then of course if you have anything on you, they need to do the pat down. Now most people find this pretty offensive. They're like, I don't like getting pat down. Well, I've been married for 26 years, I have a thriving practice. Any kind of touch is pretty good, right? They're like, well, how did that machete get in there? I don't know, fireworks, M80s? I don't know. Right, so it's not really a problem for me. So you get through security, and then you, like, in some airports, you have these things called the sky trams. Take you from one terminal to another. And so we're taking the sky tram, going through it, and I just happen to look, this is absolutely true. I'm looking at the emergency, if there happens to be an emergency, right? And so I'm looking at this and it says, step 1, break glass. I'm like, all right, it works. 12 steps later, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, let's see, inverse tangent into cosine. And it's like, let's take flap A into flap B. Honey, do you have 4 AA batteries? No? She's like, I'm on fire. I'm not on that step yet. Just a second. It was crazy. It was like, I couldn't believe this. So you get through that, right? Now you're finally on the plane. You get on the plane, I get on this plane. There was one time I'm on the plane, and the pilot comes on and says, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be experiencing turbulence on the plane, so we're not going to have any drink or food service. I'm like, oh man. So I'm looking, and I see the flight attendants come down the aisle. They're just wobbly. We're still on the tarmac, right? I'm like, what is going on? These flight attendants had a total bender the night before. They go to the pilot, they're like, no flight service today. I was like, what? We get up in the air, you could have done a circumcision on this plane. I mean, it was just, I've seen a guy doing LASIK surgery and I'm like, I think we could have had flight. So you finally get through that, right? We're on the plane, and now, so what's kind of scary is we used to be concerned about pilots being drunk, right? It was a whole alcohol thing. Well, now with the whole little, the whole weed thing, that's kind of added a whole different wrinkle to this, right? It's like, can you imagine you're sitting on the plane, all of a sudden the pilot comes on. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're flying at about 35,000 feet to Los Angeles, and oh, look at the sky! It's so high! I can touch it! I'm like, oh, great. And so I'm thinking, like, how do you find, how would you know that your pilot is actually flying high, right? Is he going 200 miles smaller than the speed limit? Is it like, does he have his head over the steering wheel? Oh! Does he have the window open with the music blaring? Oh, It's like, is he circling Taco Bell every time? I don't know what's happening. We just keep going in a flight pattern. And then, how would the police even bust a guy like that? You know, police, do you know why I pulled you over? Is it because I'm flying a 190-ton piece of steel and I can't feel my lips? It's like, do you know how fast you were going? It couldn't have been more than Mach 1. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, so I think that whole experience. But the nice thing about flying, about traveling, of course, is always coming home, right? You get to come home, get back to your routine. You know, catch up on the local news, right? Well, now with the Oregonian, you know, it's gone to 4 days a week, right? It's pretty bad. And so I think we're missing out on some important articles. Like, there was one article that I saw, I was like, you know, we might have missed this if it went to the 4-day. It was what to do in a honeybee swarm, right? When a honeybee swarms you, right? Number one, right? Don't panic. All right, in what situation can I crap my pants? Unless it's a honeybee swarm. Number two, don't kill the bees, they make honey. You're only one human being, they make yummy honey, right? Number three, call a beekeeper. Siri, I'm getting stung up my ass here. Can you get a beekeeper? Number four, wait the bees out. Now, if they start making wax in your ear, they're planning to stay. But other than that, another article I saw was there was prescription medications in the water. And they were saying, like, the whole article was like, this was a bad thing. I'm like, come on, this is great for dates. There's birth control in the water, right? It's like, great for the environment. You have less plastic bottles, solves the herpes epidemic. You know, it's just drink up, right? I think people in general, their mood is just more pleasant. Like, hey, have some glass of water. Another one of the other articles was the federal and state prisons were now adopting a zero tolerance on sexual assault in the prisons. Like, really? What was it before? We were somewhat tolerant. Well, maybe a lot tolerant. But now we're zero tolerance. Like, all right. It also, let's see, 2017. This was the year of improvement for me. I'm sure a lot of people thought that. One of the things I looked at was actually Botox. I was thinking of doing Botox, and I thought, you know, this would be really good for lawyers, especially for litigators, right? Can you imagine? You're in the courtroom, you're sitting there, opposing counsel just throws out that damning piece of evidence against your client. The jury looks to you to see what kind of expression you're going to do, and you go. So the jury's like, well, maybe it's not that big a deal. Well, look at him, he doesn't seem fazed by it at all. But then you get home, right, you're married, you get home, and the wife comes to you, and she's like, you've been working so many hours, 80, 90 hours a week, you're always on trial, you're never home. What do you have to say for that? Thank you.
So first of all, I have to say thank you, because Greg has been doing this for a number of years, and every year he does it and he gets funnier and funnier, and thank you, because you just take me back to like New York comedy clubs. I appreciate it. I did have two comments though. You seem to know a lot about what people's behavior is when they're high and driving. And I did get a little note from the judges, which was like, can you tell him to stop doing that thing when he goes through security at the courthouse? Because we're running out of deputies that are willing to frisk him. But those were just my comments. What are the comments of the judges? Judge Wallheim, what do you think?
So is that what you really do when you go through security and the Botox shots?
It's all one package. Botox and security, that's my life.
keep your day job.
Judge Kotek, your thoughts?
Well, Greg, I don't know what you paid for the chanting, but at the beginning. Well done. But you have me, formal travel agent myself, so, your wife's a travel agent, so that helps. What I would say is, on the Botox issue, we need that in the legislature, so. Good.
All right, yes, all right. Judge Edelson.
Well, I definitely think we need more Botox lawyers. I think that you ought to be the first.
Probably like the 450th, Jeff. You are not paying attention to what I am injecting into my pocket. Judge Albright, what do you think?
What I'm really wondering is what it would be like if you went through an airport security line dressed as a catheter yourself.
All right, well, give it up for Greg Levinson. Come here. Is off Fantasy Island. Our next comedian, that's so racist, is one you should welcome with open arms. Because as a legal aid lawyer, she is truly going to be up here singing for her summer. She describes herself as a corn-fed country girl from rural Indiana. 2 years ago, she moved to the great big city of Portland, Oregon. You wouldn't tell it from the dress she's wearing. She says she's hacking her way through life as a late 20-something and all the basic stereotypes that apply. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm hoping that means she can explain to me what that whole Tinder thing is about. Please give a warm welcome for Georgia Smithy! I'm going to welcome to Fantasy Laf Off.
I'm not going to explain Tinder to you. I feel like that's probably a lost cause. But, no offense, guys. But I will tell you, I don't normally drink Pabst, but I am in the middle of a rebrand. And it is my 3rd rebrand in just as many years. And the first one is the one that landed me here in Portland, Oregon, which was loosely alluded to in that intro. The second one, we don't need to talk about. And the third one is the one that landed me on this stage. So, honestly, these were all breakups, obviously. I think you got that. And I went full Taylor Swift on all of them. So the most recent one, though, are you kidding me? This ends with me being on a fucking stage, doing a stand-up comedy routine. Is this a joke? That I have to raise money for? And also, I'm the face of legal aid here, and you guys are my professional peers or whatever. So I'm literally one bad sentence away from ruining my career. Fantastic, thank you. So, how I got here though, let me tell you. Is this very nice man named Hot Jesus. And that was his actual college nickname. My actual college nickname was G-Train. So we kind of knew it wasn't going to be super compatible from the start. But you guys okay? G-Train thing, before you guys get too far in your mind about where that could go, was really that on only Fridays and Saturdays in college, I was a fucking train wreck. And I was full steam ahead, off the rails, if there was hard alcohol around, I was gonna be there pouring it down people's throats. And that's what I was doing. And Hot Jesus, for his part, it wasn't the dark and bearded handsome thing, it was that he was really hot, but also pious as fuck. So, he's the kind of guy who literally would tell on himself for doing something bad, which he actually did. Like when he was in Bible college, I'm glad you guys caught that, because in like 1 minute I was gonna say, did you guys catch that at Bible college? But you caught it. So yeah, when he was in Bible college, when he lost his virginity, he told the school, like he told his Bible college, and they made him go to fucking counseling. And then like 10 years later, I'm like, why is this not working out? What? So, yeah, so that's hot Jesus. And how this relates to this event and me being on this stage is that, like with your clients, they sit down in your office and you're like, so tell me what your problem is. And they kind of have this like, they start talking to you and internally you go, oh no. And you know that every single thing they say after that is just gonna be bad. Like it's just really bad. So this is my oh no moment. Like I agree to date this guy who is hot Jesus, and it goes off the rails, and like, I swear to God, everything that follows, like none of this is fake news. This is all real as shit. So we break up because despite this like enormous, like very glaring problem in our relationship, like we're super in love. And he's fantastic, and like I've never felt those feelings before, and everything's going really well. But then he breaks up with me because we are actually having too much fun. So he breaks up with me for God, And no, I'm not kidding. Like your laugh is nice, but it's true. So I go into this like downward spiral where I don't know if she mentioned it in my intro, but like, so I'm a staff attorney at Legal Aid in Albany, Oregon. I'm 27 years old. I'm single. This is the prime of my life. I'm living in Albany, Oregon. And so you can envision me in my downward spiral. Oh no, I only have 5 minutes. You guys are gonna be actually really sad that you don't hear this whole story. So I'm in this downward spiral, and this is like, envision this. Me, my blind cat. She doesn't have eyeballs. That is a different story. Her name is Blind Cat. And we're sitting on my porch in my super shitty apartment building in Albany, Oregon. And I'm fucking railing beers and smoking cigs. And this cat's like, you're the best human that's ever been. And that is my actual life after how Jesus breaks up with me. For like way too long. And I'm listening to Taylor Swift all day, every day. And I'm like, I get to a point where I'm like, girl, you need to make a change. Like, you gotta do something different. So I decide, all right, I'll clean my apartment. And I am not kidding you. I get literally 3 minutes into cleaning my apartment, and I find this note card. This is not a joke. Again, not fake news. This note card is Hot Jesus's breakup notes to me. His actual breakup notes. Do you guys want to know how fucking crazy this is? Yeah, I thought you would. You really are going to be sad when my time runs out. Line number 1. How are ya? Smile a lot. Be warm. So, pro tip, guys. Any of you out there who's thinking about like maybe breaking up with your significant other, don't fucking be warm. Don't smile a lot. It is like highly confusing when someone is breaking up with you and they're smiling all the time. You're like, what's happening right now? I don't know what's happening right now. So, line number 2, you guys don't feel sad for me. I'm doing fine. You guys have like kind of toned down a little bit. I think you're feeling sad. Don't. I really am fine. Look, I'm fine. So, the second line though. Order an app. Brussels and fries. So one thing I really loved about Hot Jesus was that he was super considerate and was like always thinking about me. And like, I love Brussels sprouts. I'm vegan, you know? So that was really nice that he included in his breakup note to order me Brussels sprouts and also fries, my favorite things. And then like the meat of this, are you guys ready? It is like a very, very poorly crafted sentence, but I'm gonna read it to you. I love ya. And I've enjoyed this last year with you. A year, it really was a year, it was a full year. But I have to let you go. We had a hell of a run. Yeah, right? So, first of all, yeah? Are you kidding me? You wrote a double-sided breakup note. And you wrote, yeah, Y-A. Like, you couldn't afford that U? Like, is this a joke? Right now it's a joke, but like, it wasn't actually. Yeah, and also like, that we had a hell of a run. Like, did we just like run a half marathon? Is that like a pat on the butt? Like, what is this? I thought it was a relationship. But no, it was like a marathon, and then it ended. But it was fine. So anyway, I have only 1 minute left. I will be around afterwards, and you may ask me questions about this beautiful thing. But long story short, downward spiral takes me into getting a puppy. What? She's so good. She's also a nightmare. She's fucking G-Train. Like, she is G-Train. And then I applied to all these random jobs, and I have an interview, and I'm like, I was so funny at that interview. And legal aid's like, would you be part of this thing? And then I didn't get that job. But I super love legal aid, and that is the moral of this story. I'm smiling a lot, and I'm also being warm. Does anyone? No, but I really should say though, legal aid is the best. I am so, so glad and proud to be associated with an organization like legal aid. All of the people I work with are fantastic. The work we do is high value. And I couldn't feel more supported as a young attorney in this area. So, if you guys would, please drink. I'm gonna take this shot of tequila. I don't have any salt, but I'm just gonna do it.
Okay, so first of all, G-Trade. When did you date Hot Jesus?
Oh, so this all ended like in May of this year.
We got some shit to talk about after. All right, that's all I'm saying. Sorry, honey, I have some shit on the side. You don't know about it. All right. But damn, girl, that's all I can say. That was awesome, and you know, I will say this. There is going to be a way for you to help her feel more supported in just a moment when I'm going to be like, get your motherfucking chick books out. But until then, I would like to know, how do the judges feel about her performance tonight? Judge Edelson.
You know, I thought that was terrific, but who's Taylor Swift?
Oh, why does that not surprise me? You have got to get out of Markowitz. Okay. Judge Herbold. I'm sorry, Judge Kotek. Sorry, Judge Kotek.
Well, way to share and overshare. Really wonderful job. Way to represent for the Albany Legal Aid. Fantastic. Really enjoyed it.
Judge Albright.
All I can say is don't do unto others as you would do to hot Jesus.
Wise woman, listen to her. And last but not least, Judge Wallen.
So I got lost somewhere between small town in Indiana and then stepping up and loving all of it. But you're awesome, dude.
I think she needs to like this. I'm sorry, but if you want a hot Jesus update, here it is.
Yeah, so that was all like April, May. He hit me up last week. 1 a.m. on a Wednesday. Really good. But his new super serious plan is he's going to live in a camper for the next 3 months and finish his novel.
What's not being added to that is, and she's gonna set that shit on fire. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Georgia, for a very entertaining portion of the evening. I'm sorry, that's getting one of these. Oh yeah. All right, we're going to take a little break from the comedians right now, and we're going to give you a chance to catch your breath, because that was a lot of processing that needs to go on. We're going to bring up Maya, and she's going to lead you all in a very, very short audience participation event, because we want you to be with us right here on the stage. It's not just all about the comedians, it's about you too. Maya, here you go. Take it away.
All right, how are you guys doing? As Sonia promised, a little bit of audience participation coming up. This is the warm-up act where you can practice moving your arms, shouting out loud, and getting ready to get those pledge cards and put them in the cauldron. So we're going to play a little game called the Wheel of Fortune. You guys have heard of it, right? So at the CEJ, you know we have themes that we use when we're spreading the message of the good works of legal aid. I know many of you out there know lots of the phrases that we use, and so how we're playing this game is letters are going to pop up on the screen, and when you think you know the CEJ slogan, shout it out, and there are prizes. So, Vanna Sherry, let's get this going. Just shout it out when you know it. Almost, almost. Yes! All right. Sandy. All right, I'm going to give Terry that one. All right. Okay, let's do the next puzzle. Ready. Stephanie Grant, Tonkin Torp Associate, good job. All right, we've got one more. This is a hard one. Right, not a privilege. All right, excellent job. Hand it back over to you, Sonia, for the fun part.
Thank you, Maya, and I hope you don't take this in the wrong way, but I super covered your unicorn horn. I think it would go great with my truck. Just to remind you. Okay, so that is not the end of the audience participation portion of the evening. There's a little bit more. What you have is there are multicolored pieces of paper in front of you. And I like this part of the evening because it's a way to show how much you care about CEJ in a very public but potentially embarrassing way, unless you're a cheapskate. So the papers have different meanings, and this is a multiple choice, it's basically a multiple choice question. And I'm going to give you the answers to what each piece of paper means, and then I'll ask you the question. But you pick the piece of paper that represents the answer you want to give, and then I'll ask you the question. If you have the red piece of paper, the answer to that is $250. The answer on the blue piece of paper is $100. The answer on the orange piece of paper is $50, and the answer on the yellow piece of paper is $25. And here's the question. Now, listen up. Look, okay? I don't have that dress, but yes. How much do you love the Campaign for Equal Justice and support equal rights to the legal system for everybody? Okay? So your answer is either red, 250, blue 100, orange 50, yellow 25. Yellow gets like the short end of the stick. But all you have to do is write your name, address, and telephone number on that piece of paper. You're all watching me, and I love that. That's one of the reasons I do this, because I want you to all look at me. But I want you to also pick up the pens, pick a piece of paper, and write it down. Because what we're going to do is we're going to pass around a cauldron. I've dubbed it the cauldron of cash. And we're going to put those in there, and this is where we're going to compare what this group raises compared to the 6 o'clock group. We wanted to do a paddle raise, but it's legal aid, and they can't afford paddles. So this was the cheapest alternative that we could come up with. Don't give them out yet, because here's the thing. And while you're thinking about what color to pick up, I want you to think about like when you were coming in here and they were like, oh, it's a suggested donation, and you're like, oh, and there was that like little twinge of guilt when you're like, here's $10. You know, think about that and focus on that, and then be like, I should pick the red piece of paper, you know, because really, if legal aid ever needed money, it's now. So everyone just do that, and I'm going to give you another 20 seconds or so. Judge Tennyson sang a song last time, because I actually can't do anything with tone.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. What's the next line? Looks as though I'm here to stay. Oh, I believe in the days before Donald Trump.
I literally dropped the mic.
I just want to thank you for going there, because I was trying not to go there, and I was
why does legal aid need more money? Come on, people.
I was really stepping on every little part of my being like, don't go there, you're the MC, it's not political. But yes, legal aid is going to need your money. So, before we have you put them in the cauldron of cash and then add them up, and we'll let you know what it is, what we're going to do is, this is the part where you're shamed. We want just people to hold them up so we all feel encouragement, okay? So if you filled out a red piece of paper, just hold it up so the cauldron people know. Yay! And keep them up! Keep them up! And now, if you have a blue piece of paper, hold it up! Keep them up! Everybody keep up! No, red! Keep it up! Keep it up! I want red up! I want blue up! And I want orange up! Show me your orange pieces of paper! And now I want to see a sea of yellow! Yellow! And show it to me, everyone! Alright, this is awesome! Fantastic! Thank you. The cauldron of cash will be coming around, and if for some reason it doesn't get to you, please try and run during like comedians and throw the cauldron of cash in the back so we can count it up so we know it before the end of the night. Okay, we are now going to move back to Les Comediantes. I don't know, I'm Swedish and Italian, I don't know French. Our next comedian. I'm gonna wait for the judge to sit, because you don't start talking.
You need this?
Thank you. Yes, yes. Calling back into order the Campaign for Equal Justice Laugh Off, we will now have the following comedian come up and entertain you. Our next comedian is returning to the Laugh Off stage because, like Depeche Mode, he can just not get enough. He grew up in Beaverton, but left for the Big Apple, where he worked in the Manhattan DA's office. Crushed when he found out he would not actually get to be on Law and Order. He returned to Oregon, where he worked for the Multnomah County DA's office, and then he worked in what he described, his words, the Department of Justice, although he found it to be devoid of humor. And he now finds himself working in the city attorney's office, which I have been informed disavows anything he says here tonight. Little known fact, his safe word is kombucha. Please put your hands together for Simon Wong!
So, stereotypes get a bad rap. I've always benefited from stereotypes. Particularly back when I was a prosecutor, people just assume that I'm smart, I work hard, and I know Kung Fu. It's useful being a minority here because you stand out. For example, if you're meeting somebody for the first time at a place and you don't know what each other look like, I can say, I'll be the Asian guy. And I will be the Asian guy. This works even in places you would expect more Asians, like a sushi restaurant. White lady takes your order, Mexican guy makes your sushi. Of course, there's downsides to being a minority, like racism. So this happened to me not long ago. I'm driving in my car. It's in front of City Hall, and I stop at the light, and the light turns green. And at that moment, this guy starts looping across the crosswalk. So I roll down my window, I said, I got the light. And he turns and he says to me, go back to China. Yeah, I know, right? So I'm from Beaverton. I've never been to China. I'm Korean. They're two different things. That nuance was probably lost on that guy. And I had two immediate reactions. One, go fuck yourself. And two, fuck you. It's like that drop-down menu in the Terminator, but with just those two choices. Either one of which would have been a perfectly appropriate response to what this guy said to me. But I'm like flustered, right? And so what I yelled back at the guy was, go fuck you! Which just sounds more Chinese. So back in 2003, I applied to the Multnomah County DA's office, and I go through the application. I get to the end, you know, where you mark off what race you are, and this is true. They did not have a category for Asian. It wasn't there, yeah. So yeah, either they had never expected an Asian to apply to the office, or they simply didn't care. I actually had to borrow a typewriter so I can type in my own category, Asian, so I can check it off to complete the application. I still have the application. It's in a different font, you know, because it's my typewriter. So I get through the interviews, and I finally get to the final interview with the district attorney himself, the legendary Michael D. Shrunk. And it seems to be going really well, and we're kind of loosening up. And so I figure I can kind of joke around with him, and I mention what happened with the application. And that's when Mr. Shrunk gets really defensive. Oh no, we have an Asian prosecutor here. His name's John Shriddell. True, John Shriddell, he's a Korean adoptee. And Mr. Shrunk makes me get up from my seat so he and I can go down the hall all the way to John Shriddell's office so Mr. Shrunk can show me that John works there. So we get to the office, and of course he's not there. So that's when Mr. Shrunk doubles down. Now, we start wandering the halls of the district attorney's office on the chance that we might run into him, right? So now, my interview has taken on this hunt the Asian component. Bear with me. You know, the story was just getting really good. Okay, we're back. So, yeah, we were wandering the halls of the district attorney's office looking for John Shriddell. And the thing is, this was completely unnecessary because when he told me that they had an Asian prosecutor, John Shriddell, I kind of figured, you know, this is the district attorney. I think I can take his word for it. It's not like I said to him, bullshit, Shrunk. That's a white guy name, you can't fool me. I demand proof. Bring me the body of the Oriental man. So this next story has nothing to do with race, but there are a lot of fucks in it, but they're not mine. I went to see a movie some time ago. It was back in the Lloyd cinemas when they had the theaters in the mall. And after the movie starts, there's a guy sitting right in front of me. And he's like, I don't know, like a Jersey Shore kind of guy, 20-something. He's talking during the movie. I don't think Hot Jesus was from Jersey. And so I say to him, excuse me, do you mind not talking during the movie? So he turns around and he says, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. And I do this, yeah, it's very not Portland, right? And I do what you're not supposed to do, and I engage with him, and I say, but you're talking during the movie. Shut the fuck up, you're talking during the movie. And this goes on for a while. Some other guy has to intervene and does the very important things like, hey guys, can we just calm down and watch the movie? And I wanted to say to the guy, dude, you got no game. You're a white guy in Portland, Oregon, at the mall. But of course I don't say that to him because I don't think of it until like 3 weeks later. The only thing I could muster was this week, you shut up. And he turns around to leave, and when he does, he has to make this big show of turning around and giving me the death stare, you know, like on the asshole here. And so I find myself doing the thing, like the thing with the chest. I actually say to the guy, what? You gonna do something? As if instead of being a middle-aged professional, I'm like a 19-year-old bro. Also, what if he was gonna do something? He's like 2 decades younger than me, and he wasn't a big guy, but looks like he goes to the gym, works out. So, I do not go to the gym. I do not work out. And contrary to expectations, I do not know Kung Fu. The only exercise I get is yoga. And yoga teaches you 2 things. It teaches you how to stretch and how to breathe. Those have low combat utility. So yoga has these warrior stances, and you might think that maybe it's a warrior stance, maybe it's useful for like warfare. You decide. This is warrior 1. Can people see what's wrong with this? This is also the universal symbol for I surrender. Here's warrior 2. It looks like you're prancing through the field of daisies. It's not really striking fear in the enemy. Okay, so this is warrior 3, the advanced warrior pose. Okay, so you see what's wrong here? First thing is, I'm only on one leg, right? It's inherently unstable. That swan kick at the end of the Karate Kid, that's bullshit. Like, there's a reason we don't take pogo sticks into battle. The other thing is, I'm staring straight down. There's no reason in a fight that you should be looking straight down, unless your enemy is a flounder. So, luckily, I didn't have to bust out the warriors because my bro move had scared the guy away. That's my time. Thanks for supporting Campaign for Justice.
Before I will give this in and then I'll explain my outfit. Hold on. Oh. Okay. We'll get to this in a minute. All right. Thank you. That was very educational for a lot of white people here. I just want to say that on behalf of all people from Long Island, your comment about Jersey people was racist. So, with that, let's get to the judging of the racist Simon Wong. Cheryl Albright, how did you feel?
I just kind of wonder how Mike Shrunk would have reacted if you had done warrior pose number 3 in the hallway.
Judge Wolheim.
That was really, really, really good. I didn't quite understand how we went from Mike Schrunk's form being racist to some dumb movie, but I know you had 10 minutes. But my question is what's a typewriter? And what were you doing with one?
Judge Kotek, your thoughts?
Simon, I'm really, really glad you got out of the movie theater in one piece. And I do think your mic cut out because Mike Shrunk is here. He's up in the balcony probably, but yeah, so be careful. Well done, really like the delivery. Nicely done.
All right, and Judge Edelson.
I just think you're hanging out at the wrong sushi restaurants. I couldn't get past that.
All right, well, thank you so much. Yes, you've already got your fair sound. Thank you, and we will see you in a little bit. Thank you. because I said I wasn't gonna put a costume on, but I thought like, hey, I want to mix it up for him a little bit. And also, if I do this, I get in the Campaign for Equal Justice newsletter and a photograph like this. Warrior 4. I really hope that when I did that, and that if you did, I will kill you. Before half Sicilian, I'm half Sicilian. Okay. I'm excited to introduce another newcomer to our stage. Hilariously, I went back to change to this outfit and I walked in and all I overheard was, I really can't do anything unless I'm fully undressed. I was like, okay, gotta go. He's got a little bit fancier office than Georgia, I'm sure. He's an estate planning lawyer at Tonkintorp. Graduated from Michigan Law School and is currently playing an elf bard in his Dungeons and Dragons game. Man after my own heart. Sorry, honey. By the way, I'm not taking those off until I get home, honey. My husband's here. And his children think he is hilarious shortly before and immediately after receiving their weekly allowances. Please say hello to F. Jackson Lewis.
Thank you. I was assured that what happens in the green room stays in the green room. I feel kind of betrayed on that point. So I would like to share with you a story about a time that I felt tested as an attorney. But there's something, I want to get something off my chest first. I'm a little upset with something that happened this week. So I thought I'd tell you about it. So I'm a trust and estates lawyer, so I don't do a lot of litigation. And I was in a dispute with another attorney about property law in a probate case. And we were having quite an animated argument on the phone. And I don't know if you guys have ever listened to two male attorneys, at least 10 years out of law school, argue about property law. Okay, and this is a shitstorm of mansplaining. Because it's everything. It's got, you know, the lack of knowledge about the subject. It's got the condescension, right? So this all was happening in this phone conversation, and it was truly horrible. So I decided I'm going to get out of this conversation with my dignity intact. So I said I'm a consummate professional. I'm going to leave this alone and walk away. Then I get the letter that I'm sure we've all had, the follow-up letter, okay? The follow-up letter is when you get a letter in the mail about a week later and people are like, you know, misstatement of what you said, and, you know, pretending you had an agreement when you didn't have an agreement. So this is, it's driving me nuts, right? I get this letter, and so my response was, so I'm gonna have to refer to my notes. Okay, so here's what pissed me off about the letter. He, in addition to the things that I mentioned, he also phrased every legal argument that he made. He said, as you know, legal argument. Next paragraph, as you know, legal argument. A misstatement of the law each time. And the next paragraph was, I believe I actually got an as you well know misstatement of legal argument. I didn't take time to calm down. I actually wrote a response right away, and my response was, dear Mr. So-and-so, thank you for your letter of October 7th. And this is where I thought, you know, turnabout is fair play. And I said, as you well know, this dick's not gonna suck itself. Thank you. And I actually was hoping that Judge Tennyson was around because I'm pretty sure I'm going to need a hearing date on it. So I guess I'll contact her later. Okay, let me tell you a story about a time when I was tested as a young litigator, just out of law school, working for my firm, Tonkin Tort. And I was sent, it was my first independent job outside the office. I was sent to do a document discovery in Redding, California. And this was so cool, because I've been basically just writing memos, right, for a year. And then I get to go on a trip, I get to wear a business suit, I get to fly in a rickety little plane down to Redding, California. And I'm feeling like such a badass, you know? I felt like finally this is the attorney that I wanted to be. This is what I thought I was going to do in law school. So I get down there the night before, and I look, and I'm going to spend the whole next day in discovery. And I'm looking for a restaurant. I got to eat something, and Redding, California is not a bustling metropolis, so I look up and down the strip and discover basically fast food restaurants. So I selected Kentucky Fried Chicken, or KFC, as the place I was going to enjoy my meal. I had not eaten at KFC for about 10 years before this trip, and I've not eaten there since. So you might draw your own conclusions about that. But I ordered a bucket of chicken, which is very exciting, sat down, and I started eating, and it was awesome. It was so good, and it was big because basically Kentucky Fried Chicken is basically delicious salty fried crust, and that's enough, right? I was eating that, and then I was a little disappointed that I was not finding any chicken in the fried crust. Now, until I did find the chicken, I was a little more disappointed at that point. Has anyone seen the movie Jurassic Park? Okay, good. So Jurassic Park, in that movie, Michael Crichton postulates that all modern birds are descended from dinosaurs, including chickens, obviously. And I was aware of this from having seen kids' board books, you know, which have, the dinosaurs all have scaly-ass chicken feet. So I knew that was the case, but I didn't really believe this theory until I actually found what was inside that fry crust at that KFC. And I was like a paleontologist. I was like, tink, 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 wiping it away. And what I found in there was kind of a scaly embryo claw. There was like hair and teeth. They looked like human teeth. Totally disgusting, but it was covered by that delicious fry crust. So I ate the entire bucket. So I go back to my hotel room, spend the night. Next morning, wake up, suit up, super psyched, gonna go do some lawyering, right? But I get up and I realized I made a horrible mistake. My stomach is roiling, and I'm thinking, I gotta get to this building, I'm gonna go find a bathroom that's really far away from the executive offices, you know? So but I got in my rental car, headed out in Redding, California to find the office, but Redding, California is kind of a small town, right? So I was on the main strip, and then 1 minute later, I'm in the suburbs. 1 minute later, I'm on a dirt road. 1 minute later, I'm deep in the forest, okay? And I realized, there's not going to be a big building, right? I come to the address, and I'm using my paper map, because that's what we did back in the day. And I look over, and it's a double-wide trailer. This was the office at which I was going to do my discovery. And I was, at this point, hanging onto the wheel with both hands. So I knock on the door of the trailer, meet the office manager who invites me in, and the layout is, there's a room full of filing cabinets. This is what I'll be doing all day long. There's a wall to the left at which there is a desk, a chair, and a door 4 feet away from that desk. And I asked very nicely, where's the bathroom? I was sweating at this point, sweat through my suit, and she pointed to that door that was 4 feet away from the desk. So I walked over to it. I did present my business card. She knew I was who I said I was. And as I approached the door, the only thing in my mind was, please let there be a hallway. Let there be a hallway behind that door, preferably leading to an outbuilding. But instead, I opened the door, and there was a sink and a toilet right there. I immediately closed it, managed to get undressed, and just unload. And it was a nightmare. And as that was happening, I was thinking, my God, I'm going to be here all day. And then I thought, where's the fan? At least let there be a fan. The noise is a lost cause, right? But so there was no vent, all right? I looked up, turning the light on and off. What there was, as I'm sitting there, I noticed there was a vent right here, a large vent, no charcoal or anything like that. I looked through the vent, and 18 inches away from me was a tan leg. This poor young woman was sitting 18 inches away from where I was using the toilet. And that was the rest of our day. Like, it was Stockholm Syndrome by the end of the day, and we were just waiting for a SWAT team to get us out of there. Yeah, it was very, it was rough. Every hour, on the hour. I did, in fact, read every timber cruise in that office. I looked through every single filing cabinet, and then every hour, on the hour, I would excuse myself and just fucking colonoscopy prep into the toilet next to this poor young woman. She started taking smoke breaks, and she does not smoke. So, anyway, I just wanted to share with you that is the most embarrassing story of my legal career. Now you know it, so keep it secret. Thank you.
You stand there and let me make a comment about you.
Yes.
And then they comment about you. And all I can say is that listening to you was really surprisingly beautiful because it brought me back to this amazing time I had with my 12-year-old nephew this summer when all he talked about was poop. 10 minutes of poop, but man, that was a beautiful 10 minutes. Okay, let's hear from the judges, how they felt. Judge Walheim, what did you think?
I'm almost speechless. There are representatives from Tonkin Torp here.
There are, yes.
And I'm just real curious. Did you build Tonkin Torp for the bucket of KFC chicken?
No.
Were you on per diem, or you just...
Oh, yes, I certainly did. And yes, and for the Malox and the Pepto-Bismol, everything that it took me to get home.
Did you build them for like 8 hours of that day when you were spent 3 hours, in the bathroom?
Only the time spent looking at the files.
Only the time.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Of course, I'm sure he took files into the bathroom with him, right, as we all do. Okay. Judge Albright, comments?
Your story really moved me.
Why isn't she up here? Next year you're competing. All right, Judge Kotek.
Jackson, I hated to cut you off. I was so enthralled. I could picture it, unfortunately. Really wonderful. Way to go for your first time out, and I have a whole new understanding of the thrill of being a young lawyer on Discovery. So
And now you're not like wondering anymore, like, why did I get that assignment? All right, and Judge Edelson, what do you think?
This was really eye-opening for me. I have litigated a lot of cases against Tonkin lawyers, and I now understand that you do the training. And it's the only explanation.
not surprised the litter back this year, quite frankly. She works with the DOJ as an assistant attorney general and works with their charities and fundraising division. She wanted me to make sure that you knew that you are not getting ripped off. The Campaign for Equal Justice has never been the subject of a consumer complaint. It files its reports on time and has an excellent program to service expense ratio. So give it up, campaign! Following the rules. She has 2 daughters who cannot tie their own shoes, which is sad because they're like 12 and 14 now. But they do know a lot of swear words. And to relax, she watches cake decorating videos on YouTube. Please give it up for Heather Wagner!
I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to spending the next 0.2 hours conferring with all of you, my colleagues, about various matters. At least that's how it's going to look on my timesheet. But the alternative is worse, because if I weren't here with you, I would have been home putting my children to bed. Now, I love being a mom. It is the greatest job you will ever be trapped in until you die. But bedtime is my least favorite part of that job. And some of you out there don't have kids, right? To which I say, keep doing that. But you'll need me to tell you what's so hard about it. And it's this. From the moment I wake up in the morning, usually because somebody is poking me in my face, which I actually prefer to the silent, creepy stare. Because that child just woke me up with the power of her mind. And I don't want to wonder whether I gave birth to Damien from the Omen at 4:30 in the morning. So from the moment I wake up, hopefully because somebody's poking me in my face, I'm taking care of other people and what they need. Which I guess is an exaggeration because I can take care of some of my own basic needs. Like, I could go to the bathroom while they watch me. Sidebar, Your Honors, anybody who says that being a stay-at-home mom is not a real job hasn't had to take a dump in front of their boss while trying to stop her from licking the toilet plunger. So it's hard. And by the time bedtime rolls around, there's only one thing I want to do, and that is Netflix and get the hell away from me. Which, if you don't know, is the married version of Netflix and chill. But it's not so easy. You can't just tell a little kid to go to sleep, for the same reason you can't just tell a baby to stop crying. If you understand anything about child development, you know that babies and small children are huge assholes. So you have to negotiate your way into them going to sleep. And these are not arm's length contract negotiations. These are hostage negotiations. And you, the parent, are the hostage. You have no leverage, and depending on how cute your kid is, you're susceptible to Stockholm Syndrome. So just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, here's a list of demands that my 4-year-old had on a recent evening before she would retire. And this is, as we lawyers would say, an including but not limited to list, because the entire process took 157 minutes. Okay, the first thing she needed was water. She had water, but she needed more. And I'm a little worried she's showing some Republican tendencies early on. Because I understand that Mike Pence has to fill up the toddler-in-chief's Wawa to the tippy top before he'll go 992. I'm a Democrat, but I filled up her water anyway. She also needed her slutty Barbie. Don't worry, that's not her name for the doll, it's my name for the doll. And with good reason, she wears this purple metallic mini dress, and it's a 1 shoulder number, so you get a little Barbie side boob. Big silver hoop earrings, and 4-centimeter stripper heels. She was a gift from Grandma, who lives in Las Vegas. So in addition to Slutty Barbie, she also wanted her 18-inch Darth Vader figurine. Because who doesn't want to snuggle up next to a fascist dictator? Well, other than Melania. We know she doesn't like it, but she'll do it for enough money. Any Melania fans out there, what's with you guys? And you know, you shouldn't feel bad for Melania. She has a friend in Slutty Barbie. I think they'd get along, because if Slutty Barbie went to a hurricane zone, she'd also wear stilettos. That's how her feet are made. So she needed a lot of other things. But it turns out the last thing she needed from me was a series of increasingly severe threats, by the end of which I sounded like Hammurabi. Honey, it's time to stay in your bed. If mommy hears your foot hit the floor, she will cut it off. I'm just happy that whatever is happening between Slutty Barbie and Darth Vader is somebody else's problem tonight. But I do hope they have a good safe word. Maybe kombucha. One of the other parts of being a mom that I haven't really liked is breastfeeding. And if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, did all those Renaissance paintings lie to me? What wouldn't she like about that beautiful natural bonding experience with her own child? I think you should find a lamprey eel and attach it directly to your nipple, because then you'd understand what I'm talking about. But I still did it. I did it for 9 months with my first child and 5 months with my second child, because you love your second child less. I still feel guilty about it, though, that I didn't make it the recommended 12 months with either girl. And I think it's because of all the lactivists in Portland. And you can probably figure out what this word means, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Imagine one circle, and it is full of people whose bodies are so hormonal that they're producing milk. They're lactating. And in the other circle, you have people who have a really well-developed sense of self-righteousness. They have bumper stickers on their car, if they have a car. They're activists. So obviously, in the middle where the circles meet, you have bitches. And one of them actually came up to me when I was nursing my first child in public, and I was using a cover, which is like this piece of fabric that hangs around your neck and covers your baby and your boob. And she came up to me in this very Portland way. She was polite and kind and passive-aggressive as fuck. And she said, does anybody really want to eat under a blanket? I don't know, I think it depends on what you're eating. I mean, I hope my husband doesn't mind. Because I get really cold. Stay warm out there, ladies. I'm Heather Weigler.
I love that. I love hearing that, and I'm going to give some free advice as a woman who doesn't have children, but did nanny many, many people's children. You're just not using enough duct tape. All right, just for me to you, it's my gift. Okay, we're going to have the judges discuss how Heather did. Let's start with Judge Edelson.
Well, you know, I like that term, slutty Barbie, and then I started thinking about it, and it just seemed redundant to me.
Very much the lawyer there. I like that.
It's fair. I know it's my internalized patriarchy that allows me to slut shame the doll. If it makes you feel like
Can I get another woo-hoo? Judge Albright, your thoughts?
Well, if Slutty Barbie has a side boob, I wonder if she's going to have a new identity as lactivist Slutty Barbie.
When are they going to come out with cis Barbie? That's what I want. Okay. Judge Wellman.
I'll be upfront. I have a bias. I knew Heather from when she clerked at the Court of Appeals, and I was very impressed then and now. When you were talking about your child wanting more water, that brought back lots of memories in terms of my children. It also brought up a difference, I recall, about Republicans and Democrats, where there'd be a glass half full of water, and the Democrats would, of course, describe it as a glass half full of water, and the Republicans would say, "Who drank my fucking water?"
And finally, Judge Kotek.
Thank you, Bob. I want to thank you, Heather, for so accurately portraying the passive-aggressive activist here in Portland. So thank you very much. I thought that was awesome. Very well.
Thank you for giving him a voice. All right, for the next couple of minutes, our judges are going to deliberate and decide who will be the king or queen, or both, I don't know anymore, of comedy this evening. And while we do so, we are going to draw the winner of the legal gift basket raffle. To do that, we are going to bring up one of CEJ's former executive directors, Sandy Hansberger. Yeah. I would also like to acknowledge that the executive director prior to Sandy is here, Linda Klingen, right? Give it up. Thank you, ladies, for all you do, all the executive directors of CEJ, all the staff of CEJ. Thank you. All right, stick your hand in there and pick something out. That's what she said. Or he, I don't know. All right, who's the winner? Michelle, you won? Okay, all right. Bring her legal gift basket. Thank you, Sandy. All right, we are now at this point of the evening going to bring all of the comedians back on stage. Comedians, please put down your drinks and come up on the stage. There's more alcohol when you get back there. Come on up. Get in line. We got Greg, got Heather, got Jackson, Georgia, and Simon. There we are, Georgia, Simon. No, that's, thank you. Thank you for making me feel better about myself. Simon, all right, get up there. So, let's give them all a big hand for their efforts to see, oh, good job, thank you. In addition to your attendance, in addition to your generosity tonight when you gave to the cauldron of cash, each of these individuals was tasked with creating a page, and they were supposed to reach out to folks and say, please donate to my page, and we have two other prizes tonight. One is for getting the most donors, and one is for raising the most money. And it turns out that tonight, the individual that won, there's only one individual that won those prizes, and they get their own special rubber chicken, or they get two rubber chickens, and the winner is... So through the efforts of the comedians tonight, they themselves individually were helped, well, with your help and their friends' help, but they raised $8,000 for the Campaign for Equal Justice, and so thank you very much for that. I also know that we did pass the cash cauldron, and congratulations, 9 o'clock show, because you beat the 6 o'clock show, and you raised $5,500. All right, and now, the final award of the evening, the coveted, the sought after, what people cut each other's Achilles tendons for. The coveted Rubber Chicken Award for the funniest lawyer comedian of the night, because like the 6 o'clock person, they're nothing now. They don't mean shit. So the judges, will you please tell us, Judge Albright, looks like you're the one that's been tasked with this arduous, task. Who is the winner this evening?
This was really, really tough because we have people who are experienced, who stepped up their game, and had new people who are really fresh and interesting and moved us. The judges felt we all agree. It was tough, so we had some debate here, but we are really kind of fond of Hot Jesus.
Do you want to thank Hot Jesus or anybody else?
Well, yeah. Thank you, sweet baby Hot Jesus. I hope that you enjoy your life in your van. And I'm feeling really good about things. Thank you.
All right, well, let's hear it for our comedians one more time. Let's give it up for our judges who are taking their time on Friday to help us out. And we could not do this with all of you. I want to thank all of you on behalf of CEJ for coming, and I look forward to you guys coming again and bringing people who are not lawyers, because I think this is the event more than anything I can think of that goes on all year long that communicates to people like lawyers are people too. So bring them on and bring them to Campaign for Equal Justice Laugh Off. Thank you. And I am being awarded the Handmaid's Tale. You have no idea how much this means to me. And how I read this book my first year of college and was like, oh my God, men suck. But thank you, good night, have a great time, and get out.